While discussing the linguistic phonetics, we pointed out that two major principles are there, which are based on the community phonetics. One was IPA, which we discussed earlier. You may remember that. And the second is the feature hierarchy. So in this session, we are going to talk about the feature hierarchy, that what is feature hierarchy and how it is the representation of the phonetics, which is the property of the community, not the individual variation, right? So as the part of linguistic phonetics, basically, it's an approach to the shared knowledge of the community, that how a community maintains language as a sound system, right? And then how that sound system carries, features. And then on the basis of features, what hierarchies are created. And then how those hierarchies are used as theories of the phonetics and phonology, right? So that's the discussion point here. A feature hierarchy is the hierarchical organization of linguistic phonetic features, right? The features which are basically phonetics, but on the basis of those features, we actually divide sounds, right? And then those sounds are distributed in various features, in terms of various features, right? So what's a feature? The question then, what's a feature? A feature is basically the property of a sound, right? Like what features are there within one sound, right? It's an important discussion, right? And maybe the modern one, right? In comparison to our earlier definition of a phoneme, that phoneme is the minimal unit, right? But there are some phoneticians who think that it's not phoneme, but it's the feature, because phoneme is further divided into various features, right? So that's a comparison for your understanding of feature, right? Feature is the property of a segment of a sound, right? Like, for example, P is a consonant, right? So it's primarily the feature of consonantal property, right? Then the second is that it's labial, and more specifically bilabial, because in order to produce P, we just take those of our both lips together, we close them, and then we produce the P sound, right? And P is also a voiceless consonant, right? Because the state of the glottis is also important. And then it's a stop. Stop is a manner, right? So plus stop, minus voice, and plus bilabial. These are the features. And of course, consonantal, consonant feature of the P. These are the features of P, right? So this feature hierarchy is also used for binary division of sounds. That's another discussion. But just remember that feature is an important entity, and it's the aspect of the sound, it's the property of the sound, which is used further. In feature hierarchy, the features are listed, they are defined in a hierarchy specifically designed for the distribution of sounds, for the description of sounds on the basis of the knowledge of community, and then on the basis of the agreement of the community members, right? So let me take you to the hierarchy example of feature hierarchy, and you would know something more about it. This is the superordinate features in a feature hierarchy, right? And you see that a segment, it could be any segment, right? Like P, as we discussed. It's a segment which has features. One type of features are on the basis of supralaryngeal properties. Supralaryngeal, above larynx, right? Supralaryngeal are above larynx, like those, points which are related to the cavities, right? The oral cavity and then those other parts, right? So supralaryngeal properties, they are realized in this feature hierarchy. Laryngeal are the properties which are within larynx. And within larynx is phonation. You may know it by now, that what is the state of the glottis, right? The state of the glottis is realized within laryngeal properties, and then the airstream features of the segment. Like it is P, then it's the sound which is produced through the airstream mechanism, which is pulmonary, right? So pulmonic, this is pulmonic basically. And then within supralaryngeal features, we cover place of the articulation, and P is bilabial. We know it by now. And then the manner of articulation, so it is a stop, right? And then is it through the nasal cavity or oral cavity? So it is minus, it is oral, it is not stop, which is produced through the nasal cavity. And then laterality, that whether it is central sound or a lateral sound. So again, it is in minus because it is a central sound. So these are the features which are realized for the understanding of the sound, for the description of a specific segment. And that specific segment is described using this hierarchy of the features. And features, they are known just on the basis of the shared knowledge of the community.